So for the next presentation of the day, the speaker is the graduate student Sedanur Kaya, and I will briefly read her biography. Sedanur Kaya completed her undergraduate degree at Balıkesir University, Department of Turkish Language and Literature. While continuing her education, she started her business life and worked as a communication consultant for 5 years. Kaya, whose areas of interest include rhetoric and communication, holds various certificates in these fields and also an associate degree from Anadolu University, Department of Media and Communication. Although she is not a professional, she's a presenter at various events. She is currently pursuing a second bachelor's degree in Necati Bey Faculty of Education, Department of Turkish Language Teaching, and a master's degree in New Turkish Literature at Balıkesir University, Department of Turkish Literature, Language and Literature. So Sedanur Kaya, who got acquainted with semiotics thanks to the Turkic World Common Semiotic Glossary of Terms workshops, realized her interest in semiotics and turned her field of study in this direction and did research on linguistics, such as Roman Jakobson and Mihail Bahdin. Kaya, who is in charge of the youth unit of Turkish Semiotics Circle, takes an active role in the studies in this field. And now I leave the floor to Sedanur Kaya to make her presentation titled Polyphonic Aesthetics in the 20th Century Novelists, Peyami Safa.
Hello, dear participant and dear professor. Thank you so much, dear Helen. I share on you. Wait a minute. Okay, can you see? Dear Helen?
Yes, there's no problem.
Thank you. I am very excited to present at such an important congress. It's a great honor to be among you. Today, I will talk about Peyami Safa, a valuable figure of great importance for Turkish literature. I will try to explain to you how the concepts such as polyphony, heteroglossia, dialogy, chronotope, and carnivalization are used in Peyami Safa''s works, Fatih Harbiye and 9. Hariciye Koğuşu. I would like to start by introducing Peyami Safa to you. Peyami Safa was born in Istanbul on 2 April 1899. His father was İsmail Safa and his mother was Server Bediye Hanım. He lost his father at the age of 1.5. Safa and his brother were raised by their mother in difficult condition and poverty. During his primary school years, he had to leave school because of bone tuberculosis in his arm. After a certain period, he started his education life again for high school education. The artist who studied at Istanbul Vefa High School and had various literary discussion with his friends here. Peyami Safa wrote the first essay and a novel among his works during his high school years. Throughout his life, he reflected his changing midness in his works by exhibiting positivist, materialist, mystical, nationalist, and conservative attitudes. In addition, the author, who frequently included the synthesis of East and West in these works, also wrote criticism articles in newspapers. Peyami Safa fought with different artists throughout his life. He caused him to develop his critical point of view. He died on 15 June 1961 in Istanbul. Works of Peyami Safa, intellectual novels, and stories. The literary personality of Peyami Safa, one of the writers of the Republican world, is quite diverse. In the novels he wrote, he gave more place to psychological analysis rather than events. For this reason, he has become quite adept in psychological analysis. Novels and his works have attracted attention in every period. Peyami Safa's works have a fluent and lively narrative. In his works, he combined consciation and subconsciation by looking at people and things psychologically. Peyami Safa used Turkish well in his stories, articles, and all his works. Peyami Safa books are very strong in technical terms. The conflict between est and west, morality, the secret of existence, social change, the main subject of his novels. He is also known as one of the mystical writers of Turkish literature. He wrote works that priority spiritual values and faith. The description in his works are quite strong. Especially Peyam Safa novels are fluent because they do not include any words. They do not sound pleasant. The vocabulary of the author, who has a wide knowledge on every subject, is also quite large. He reflected this skillfully in his works. Now that we have examined the life and works of Peyam Safa, I would like to talk about the concept put forward by Mikhail Bakhtin. Mikhail Bakhtin, one of the most important thinkers of the 20th century, is a Russian philosopher and literary theorist. His works was interacted with Marxism, structuralism, linguistics, and semiotics. Bakhtin's contributes to the world of literature with certain concepts to clarify certain aspects of the novel. He analyzes the novel genre through the concept he puts forward and determines the difference of this genre. Bakhtin's most important characteristic is that the introduced very important concept such as chronotype, theology, polyphony, heteroglossa, and carnivalization to the field of thought. Bakhtin reveals the difference of the novel from other genres with this concept that he includes in his works on the novel genre. I would like to define this concept and then share my analysis in novel. The first theories on polyphony emerged towards the end of the 1970s. The concept of polyphony replaced a musical analogy. Polyphony studies that a speech or utterance does not contain a single meaning, but that many different points of view or voices can be integrated into a single utterance, so that it is up to the interpreter to decipher that it means to be stated. Beginning with Mikhail Bakhtin's literary criticisms of Dostoevsky's novels, in which the narrator's voice is often hidden under the characters of the novel. Much of the polyphonic work in France has emerged in the field of linguistics in the last 2 decades. By the end of the 1970s, Bakhtin's arguments had gained a foothold in France, especially in the fields of linguistics and discourse analysis. Due to time constraints, I will briefly mention these concepts. Detailed analysis can be found in my presentation. One of the cornerstones of Bakhtin's theoretical structure on narrative genres is the concept of chronotype. The word chronotype is a combination Greek words chronos, time, and topos, place. These two elements show different characteristics in each genre as an inseparable whole. The techniques of narrative genres basically exist as methods of weaving this duality of the time place into a view of the text. Chronotype is defined by Bakhtin as a temporal spatial relationship expressed artistically in literature. Bakhtin borrowed this term from Einstein theory. Dialogism. Dialogism is a concept put forward in reference to the multilingualism of the world in general. The essence and quality of language is that is dialogical. In this sense, dialogue is a opposite of monologue. This means that there is mutual interaction and a dialogue between mean a dialogism is an idea of signification based on mutual interaction. Dialogue means finding the right scientific, rational, and consistent way of doing this through dialogue and interaction. For example, in order to reach a correct decision on education reform that concern the whole society, it's a social dialogue for all stakeholders related to education to come together and reach a conclusion with common sense and scientists. Heteroglossia, like polyglossia, is one of the term introduced to literature by Bakhtin. It used as an equivalent of hetero, meaning other in Greek, glossia, meaning language, and sound. Bakhtin defines heteroglossia in his works translated into Turkish under the title Discourse in the novel, the stratification and conflict of styles and types of speech existence within a certain national language. The novelist establishes his honor still through his stratification, but at the same time preserves an integrity of his own style. And carnivalization, the concept of carnival, define an environment in his story in which humanity can express themselves, be relieved of their social responsibilities for a short time, and spend time without rules. In a hierarchical system, an environment is created where people eliminate the class discussion. Every society has its own understanding of carnival. In ancient Greece, the main manifest is as a festival organized for the gods, while in Anatolia it is reflected as a celebration with activities such as theaters or middle plays. But one way or another, the concept of carnival is present in the culture of every society. Mikhail Bakhtin, as a linguist who lived in Soviet Russia, in the name that attribute this concept to art. He theorized carnival culture by taking into account the living standards of society. Thanks to this theory, which he called carnivalesque, he tells us about socially expressed from of art, from literature to cinema. These are the concepts that Mikhail Bakhtin's revealed. Now I will explain how these concepts are related in the novels of Peyami Safa. Summary of the novel 9. Erciye Koğuşu. The plot of the book 9. Erciye Koğuşu tells the story of a 15-year-old young man's struggle to hold on to life as a result of bone tuberculosis. Summary of the novel Fatih Harbiye. The two neighborhoods connected by the tramway but completely disconnected from each other, Fatih and Harbiye. It is a sad story that shines light on the social structure of the period, with the ties of a young girl named Neriman between these two neighborhoods. and identity problems experienced by Turkish youth foldering between Eastern and Western culture. Polyphony in 9. Hariciye Koğuşu. In 9. Hariciye Koğuşu, rather than a narrator who now sees, senses everything, gives news from the past and the future and dominates everything. We encounter a narrator whose powers are limited and who is on the same level with the characters of the novel. The other narrator is in a position where he does not feel the need to hide himself, telling that he sees and hears by observing people, situation, and situation. In this case, the fact that the novel is an autobiographical work has a great share. In polyphonic novels, the author does not dominate in the novel and tries to take place on an equal level with the characters. We observe that the author narrator is involved in the narrative like a novel character. The author narrator shows an inspirative and analytic attitude rather than a omniscience dominant point of view. In this way, the author becomes flesh and blood in novel and appearance in front of the reader. In terms of the author position in the novels, 9. Hariciye Koğuşu is a polyphonic novel. Polyphony in Fatih Harbiye. As a characteristic of the polyphonic novel, the characters argue with and criticize themselves, thus establishing a dialogical relationship with themselves. For example, why don't people understand everything? If they forget themselves, forgive minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour, if they put themselves in the other person's place. If they heard exactly as he does, but never completely and fully, how everything would be in its proper place. No, always opposite anger, misunderstanding, jealous, stubbornness, doubts, desire to deny. In polyphonic novels, the characters enters into an imaginary dialogue so that the voice of others based her own can be heard. Chronotop in Fatih Harbiye. In the first case circle of the novel, Neriman and Şinasi, who live Darul Elhan, where they receive Alaturka music education, together are placed in the chronotop of the row. It is noteworthy that Neriman immediately responds to Şinasi, who suddenly makes a gesture similar to the desire to leave while talking. This is the first contrast that reflected that Neriman and Şinasi are two different worlds. The contrast between the two reveals the matrix lying at the center of the narrative. The threshold chronotop, another chronotop that manifests itself in the novel, contains a time that reveals the crisis event and leaves the characters. The suspended in the air. Space such as the gizzard and the staircase in Mr. Fayez house have the function of reflecting the trace of live experience with a moment of life that changed direction. The immobility of the characters, which is impatient, hesins among the details of the material conditions of the house is like a preparatory for the moments of crisis that will occur in the later parts of the novel. And Carnivalesque in Fatih Harbiye. It is possible to observe that Fatih Harbiye is a carnivalesque novel in the terms of polyphonic characters, uh, as well as its spatial dimension. What Neriman experienced on the term after she gives up going to the ball, after she learns that happened to Russian girl, which constitutes the last ring of the novel's cases, is an example of the spatial carnivalesque elements. Every place where the carnival act, um, act takes place, where all kinds of values are overthrown, where everyone has an opportunity to meet on equal plan, and every place that carries the spirit of carnival can be grouped under the title of carnival space. Bahtin does not limit the carnival space, only the square. For example, sheep decks, taverns, streets, bathhouse can qualify as carnival squares. He considers any public space where everyone can participate in the unveiled uh, censor them of the carnival as a carnival score. Those the carnival gains spatially expanding and deepening dimension. In fact,
Seda, I'm so sorry, you have 5 minutes left.
okay, I'm spinning up. Okay, thank you. Uh, Fatih this space in the term. Uh, okay, son is theology and carnivalization in the Fatih Harbiye. In contrast to the monological discourse contributed by traditional linguistics, Bakhtin introduced the term heteroglossia as a subsidiary for polyphony, denoting form, dialogism, and ambivalence in the dialogical discourse of the novel. Heteroglossia refers to the including of different social strata in artist discourse, such as court language, press language, everyday language, etc. The discourse seems to belong to a single speaker, but in fact it includes the language and attitudes of more people. Many of the ideologies of Mr. Faiz, Neriman's father, contain the attitudes of Eastern culture. As seen in this dialogue of Mr. Faiz, although it's thought that discourse belong only to him, we can say that it contains the language and attitudes of social identity. The East and West conflict, which dominates the whole novel, also appears here in a heteroglot dialogue. Mr. Faiz alone has become a symbol of Eastern culture. In this way, his discourse have transformed from a monological structure into a dialogy. Consequently, sorry, it's in the study the basic elements of the carnival theory, especially the polyphonic aesthetic method put forward by Bakhtin, where analysis on the novels Fatih Harbiye and 9. Erciye Koğuşu of Peyami Safa, one of the most important novelists of the 20th century. and especially the carnivalesque elements in the novel Fatih Erbiye were tried to be determinate. Bakhtin is one of the most important literary theorists of the 20th century. Although he has many works in the field of the theory and literary criticisms, it is the carnival theory he developed that made him recognized in the field of the literary theory. Carnival theory consists of the basic concept of dialogism, polyphony, heteroglossia, and chronoton. As a result of the study based on the carnival elements in Fatih Harbiye and 9. Erciye Koğuşu, it was revealed that Peyami Safa's work should be analogous in the light of the contemporary theories of criticisms. Sign, he has a writer who closely followed modern Turkish and world literature is his own age. The analysis to be applied to Safa's other works revealed that more carnivalesque elements can be encountered. This concludes my presentation. Thank you for listening.